What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. Welcome to My Cup of Tea, episode number 6. Still very low numbers, crazy, but we're excited to be continuing on this show today because we got plenty of stuff talked about. A lot of fun memories to dive into as well, which I think is going to be a blast. So, queuing up our crew here, as always, joining us, we have Evan.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a pretty busy Wednesday for me. Like right now, the season finale or series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on, so I'll watch that right after this. The Big Brother is still going in full swing, and it sucks because I know it's not movie related, but the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is probably like my favorite show of all time, just left the project for the live action adaptation, and I'm pretty upset. But besides that, I'm excited to talk about Tron and a lot of my Ghibli viewings and watches that I watched. So very excited.
Also joining us, we have Carson.
What's going on, guys? I, too, am very bummed about this news, but don't worry. Netflix can just call M. Night Shyamalan. We'll get it all figured out. The series will go on. No, but all jokes aside, I'm super bummed that they had to like release a statement, and then Netflix had to come out with the statement like, but don't worry, it's still going to be good. Like, oh, it's just very bad PR. But we're going to talk about some other movie-related stories and everything happening. I think we'll be more positive this week versus us kind of just like, what are we going to do when theaters open up? Like we were last week. I think we can kind of, there's some stories that we can just be like, all right, let's fantasize about what movies are coming ahead in 2022 and beyond, you know, those kind of things. But yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
And it says breaking here, we have the first official casting for live action Avatar of Prince Zuko, and it will be Noah Centineo.
Oh god,
I'm so scared.
I mean, you just recently finished Avatar, right, Nathan? You did a whole binge. So
yeah, I mean, like a couple of months ago, still saw the series for the first. Now let's talk about Avatar. It's just, it's so good. It's such a gorgeous show. Like the music and animation, especially, is just beautiful. And the world, character, it's all of it. Like,
did you know Dave Filoni worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then he went on to do the Clone Wars,
where he just like caught the same temple raid scene.
Hey. Saves time. No, I don't know.
Stealing from yourself. Let's go.
Genius. Galaxy brain level.
Pretty good. Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous show, and I can't wait to start the rest of Korra this month on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I have not watched that show, and I
think that's next week, right? Next week or this weekend? I'm not sure actually, but it's coming.
Oh yeah.
What season? Season 3?
No, just Legend of Korra. All of them.
On Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah, all 4 seasons.
Sorry,
and season 3 and 4 are the best. But yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to check it out.
That's hype. I mean, already the first half of season 1 was.
And season 1 is really good too.
Yeah. Probably season 2. I don't know. The whole show. But to kick off our primary movie talk, we're gonna kick off. Hoping to offer my own horrible outsider perspective because I've not actually experienced this franchise, unfortunately, but I will. We have the officially new Tron film that's in development, and I'm sure many Tron fans are very happy. Whether or not they're happy about the following, I mean, I don't care. I like the guy.
Yeah, this is perplexing to me. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you haven't seen Legacy?
I haven't seen either Tron films.
Sir.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
Wow.
I have Disney Plus, so I should just.
I'm about to say it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, like both of them are. So I definitely get to check out. But yes, they this new film called Tron ARES, starring Jared Leto, which is interesting. I didn't know his capacity of the role until it was officially confirmed. So this will be quite the interesting run. I believe also from the same director that directed Lion.
Yes,
strange
Garth Davis. Yeah,
which I haven't seen Lion either.
Wow,
great movie.
Fantastic. Was it Best Picture nominated?
I think it was. I don't remember.
2016, right?
2016.
That's why I remember hearing it from.
I think it did sneak in. I'm pretty sure it did.
I think it was like one of those like bottom 9 or 10 that just.
Yeah, I think it got announced like 8th or 9th at the.
Yeah.
Is that one of the films with Dev Patel?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. From Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Sorry, love. Can we talk about that clip that surfaced the other week of Dev Patel at the red carpet premiere of the Avatar, and he's like, ass. Like,
Yeah, he's like, don't
he literally
talk to me.
apologizes to the fans as he's signing out.
Yeah,
I'm
that
so
was
sorry.
bad.
So
Jesus.
funny.
Did he really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a short clip. He's like, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh no.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the Tron stuff. It's like perplexing that. So this seemingly confirms that it's probably going to be a completely different idea than, continuity wise of going through with Tron 3. I would think.
That's what it seems like. I'm reading the report right here, and it really does kind of clarify that he wants to go into a different and fresh and new direction, which is cool for me. Like, I'm not a huge Tron fan. I never saw the original Tron film. I guess it's the 80s
I haven't
one,
either.
right?
Yeah, it's
87?
Yeah, late 80s, I think.
Fake fans. No, okay.
I know, right? Yeah. Somebody in the comments, oh my gosh. No.
When was Legacy was like 2010?
2010?
2011? Probably
I feel like I saw it in theaters for some reason.
2009. I don't know.
Like, I kind of remember seeing it in theaters.
Tron Legacy was 2010, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was the same year as Inception. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Damn.
that was a good year. Huh.
Yeah.
And Social Network.
2010 Social Network, everything.
Yeah, and Social Network. Yeah, better than probably both
King's
those movies,
Speech.
I would say. But I don't know. I think it has good potential casting. I don't know. It depends how they write the character. If it's kind of like, I guess the only really example I can use is his character in Blade Runner, where very much stoic, kind of grumpy, kind of.
That's what I use for one now, yeah.
Right. And so I wonder if they're going to write. Are they going to write the character for Jared Leto, or are they going to write the character and Jared Leto is going to play it, if that makes any sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I see what you're saying. Like, a lot of people were complaining about this, and I was kind of perplexed because I'm like, did Jared Leto said some bad comments in the past that I don't know about or anything?
I think everyone's just continuously hung up on Suicide Squad.
Yeah, everyone's.
That's exactly it, Nathan. I'm like, okay, so he's a pretty cool guy in real life. I mean, I like 30 Seconds to Mars, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Like
He's
his acting's really good. Do people forget that he's an Oscar winner? Like, he won for Dallas Buyers Club for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah,
I think
actor.
like 2008, I think, whatever. But so he's an Oscar-nominated actor, and I always say this. I'm like, somebody please tell me who's the lead actor in Tron Legacy. Where has he been? Nobody can remember. Right. Nobody cares. It's Garrett Hedlund, and he hasn't been in jack crap besides Tron Legacy. Like, let me see. He hasn't been in anything really. He was in Pan, Troy, Triple Frontier, Four Brothers.
He was in Triple Frontier? I don't even remember him being in Triple Frontier.
I don't remember him either. Maybe he died.
Was he one of Affleck's kids or something?
He was in Aragon. I forgot about that too. But God, yeah. He's not a good leading actor. But going into Jared Leto though, specifically for Blade Runner 2049, Denis he's a great director in general, but he really knows how to get the best out of his actors. Like, he hired Dave Bautista, and he's not the best actor, but if you put him,
he was great.
Exactly.
For his roles, yeah.
For his role, he was fantastic. Same thing like in, I don't love this movie, but what was that latest James Bond movie called? Spectre. Dave Bautista was great in that too, because he's playing like that intimidating action-like figure. And same thing for Jared Leto in Blade Runner 2049. He kind of plays like this stoic, intimidating character with a lot of great dialogue. I love his character in that movie.
I love his story on set for Blade Runner, where he he has the contacts and he can't see, and he's just like, I didn't see Harrison Ford the entire time we shot.
That's too funny. Isn't he supposed to be blind in that movie, kind of, in a way?
I think so, because he has like these like camera orbs that circle him.
Yeah.
Which
is a fascinating character. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, he kind of played to his strengths there in 2049, which I don't think a lot of people saw. Well, it did kind of bomb at the box office.
I went opening night.
Me too. Yeah.
To your point, though, I think he'll be a protagonist in this movie.
I don't think it'll be the primary focus, really.
And I don't think he's ever been a protagonist in a lot of. I don't know a lot of his filmography, but Dallas Buyers Club, he's a supporting actor.
Morbius.
Suicide Squad, supporting actor.
Yeah, and Morbius will be like an anti-hero.
Oh, you're right, Morbius. Yeah,
still the lead.
I don't really know the character very well, but
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to judge his acting because like we have Tom Hardy in Venom, and that's not a
Right.
good
Yeah.
showcase either. So I
But
kind of
Tom
see like
Hardy
that's
was
Tom Hardy is a way better actor than Jared Leto, and you can kind of get the comedy from Tom Hardy's performance in Venom.
Yeah.
But Jared Leto looks to be taking it very much more seriously, at least from the trailers.
Which
so
I
don't
like.
know. I like that too. I don't know how that's going to portray in a film that doesn't look so good, but we'll see. Like, yeah, this is going to be a good test for Jared Leto. I don't think he's a box office draw. I don't think he's a great leading man, but I think he has great acting potential. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
You know what? Now I'm thinking, honestly, I'm more fascinated by the directing choice because I don't think he comes from a sci-fi background.
No.
Because Lion is very much a pretty straightforward drama, kind of generational drama, and fun. I think Greg Fraser shot that movie.
You're correct.
If Greg Fraser shoots a Tron movie, can you? That is like he goes from Star Wars to Dune to the Batman to a Tron movie. If in
Amazing.
fact,
because he did Rogue One, right?
Yeah, he did Rogue One.
What a repertoire!
So that would be incredible. I would love to see Greg Fraser shoot a Tron movie, and I would imagine, imagine if you're the Lion director, you're saying, "Hey, Greg Fraser shooting a Tron movie, yes, please." And if you're Disney, you're like, absolutely. We've already worked with this guy before, and I'm curious to see if. I don't know if any of the stories mention who's writing or if the director is getting a co-writing or what the script is going to be like. But it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the crew fills out. So for me, I'm cautiously optimistic to, pretty optimistic because we don't really know how the rest of the crew is going to fill out. But I think, once we get more supporting cast and kind of find out some plot details, then I think I'm going to have more of a judgment on like, okay, this is kind of worth it to do another movie versus, making a Disney Plus series. Like kind of been over the past 2 years or so, people were like, oh, what if Tron was a series? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting here. I was reading the article and it says here that Davis aggressively pursued the job, eventually winning over the Disney execs. Because they're saying like he comes from a very small background. Of course, we just said Lion, so I guess he's very passionate about this. That's always a great thing. Wow. Like it doesn't look like Disney just picked him out, which is kind of surprising because they usually do pick out smaller directors. You have Gareth Evans in Rogue One. MCU does it all the time. They just did it for Captain Marvel too. So it's gonna be interesting.
Good vibes. Good vibes to you.
Thanks, man.
It must have been one hell of a pitch then. Like
exactly, yeah. I'm curious.
We always thought Disney would bring this franchise back. I think it's too bankable of a franchise. Even though I think Tron Legacy made less money than people thought it was going to make, it still made what, like 600 million or 5?
I want to say 400.
I can't remember.
3D.
In 3D.
I remember. I'll never forget seeing that movie in theaters. I was so pissed because I paid like what? You have to pay an extra $3 to see something in 3D. And it was like $10. I'm like, $10 for a Tron movie? Okay. And then I get there, and before the movie starts, it says, now, for a warning, 3 or a quarter of this movie won't be in 3D, or certain sections of this movie won't be in 3D. So
they didn't transfer all of it?
No, which is crazy.
Wow.
The first
I know it's like early on in like the new era of 3D, but geez.
Exactly. So, right, I'm like, my friends and I were like, did we just pay an extra $3 for a movie that's not fully 3D? And
so you have to like take the glasses
price for like
exactly, Carson. Like so, certain scenes like we have to take the glasses off. Then when they get into the Tron world, put it back on. When they're racing, you put it back on and off, and it's really weird. I hated the experience.
I had a similar. I kind of had I had a wonky thing happen to me. 3D story. I think I went to go see the first Fantastic Beasts. It was about like a month after it initially released. So I was finally gonna go see it, and like we were seeing a 3D showing. And I sit down, I put on my glasses, and like everything looks so wonky and weird. And I'm like, while the trailers are going, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, I try to go take off my glasses, maybe like there's a smudge or something, try to wipe it off. And I realize I'm missing an entire lens from my glasses. I'm like, what's happening?
Oh my god.
I was like,
that's crazy.
My eyes were glitching, like
Yeah.
Oh, 3D.
I'm excited to see it. Like even in Tron Legacy, a lot of the CGI was not good because there's during that early days of trying to get that younger actor thing. Wasn't there like a younger Jeff Bridges
I
in that
think that
movie?
yeah, it was like I think
Yes.
it's the first real instance of it being used prominently.
Yeah, and it was really bad. It was like
Rubbery. Like
yeah, it was so rubbery. Like you gotta find the key or whatever it is. I'm like, what is going
But you know
on?
what? That aside, that movie has gorgeous production design and lighting,
Totally.
and
yeah, actually,
when it is practical stuff that kind of blends in. I love all this.
I do kind of want to touch on that just from like the assemblage of clips I've seen from both Trons. It's interesting because the first ever Tron film, like you look back on it and you know effects like dated, but it's still interesting. I noticed like a lot of the actors like in the Tron world are like super like muted gray. And I was like, oh, that's odd. But then I also kind of noticed they kind of have that style in Tron Legacy as well, but it's like done like way better in terms of like the neon lighting. I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. But yeah, like the whole like ideal of like the neon, fast-paced moving world of Tron, which I haven't like overly deep dived into to actually look at. But from what I have seen, like it's really cool. I'm not only intrigued to like check that out finally, but to see like an semblance of what could be achieved today of such effects.
Definitely. It goes back to the conversation we were having about Tarkin showing up in Cassian, right? Of like even the jump from 2016 from Tarkin and Rogue One, like we're talking about, you know, already so much just in the Star Wars kind of television realm has propelled forward in terms of visual effects and all that stuff. So I mean, it's already been 10 years since Tron Legacy. Like that's a whole decade. Like, and we'll probably get this movie 2023 at the earliest, I'm thinking.
At the earliest, 22, 23. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
I would put this movie, if Avatar 2 wasn't in December 2022, I'd be like, all right, let's shoot for a
that's a great December movie.
December 2022 date, but I'm like, there's no way they're going to put it.
Do you guys remember the exact date for Tron Legacy? Because I forget what month that came out. December 17th, 2010. Wow.
Did it really?
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a December movie, which I think is the right spot for it. But right now, they kind of screwed themselves over because they have back-to-back Avatar and Star Wars for the next decade.
Right.
So yeah, and this can't be a summer movie. That's too dangerous.
Maybe they drop this in like
fall,
October.
Yeah,
October 2023.
October, September, in that kind of area. The summer just too dangerous.
The Batman's next year in the fall, and I think that's going to be obviously a huge hit for a fall. And then the following year, I can't remember if there's a Marvel movie in November or
for October for 2021 or 2022.
2022.
No, I think everything is like
front-loaded in the beginning of the year. Yeah,
there's Spider-Verse 2 early October 2022.
Yes, there's Spider-Verse. That's the other comic book, and of course there's Aquaman 2 that December.
Yeah,
so December.
No, Spider-Verse is October.
Yeah,
and then Aquaman 2 is December.
Wait, didn't their first films come out like both of December 2018?
What'd you say?
No, Spider-Verse came out like Didn't Spider-Verse come out end of November?
No, it was December 14th.
Really?
Early December.
I think I caught like an early access end of November, but it premiered December. Yeah, that's crazy.
It'll be interesting though where they put it.
Yeah, and the first thing I tweeted out when this news broke was that I'm surprised this wasn't a Disney Plus series. I thought for the longest time, because the whole back and forth for the past 10 years about a new Tron project in general, I thought like, okay, we're going to get a Tron TV series, especially with the success of The Mandalorian. We're getting a new Percy Jackson stuff. So you can take a lot of creative risks on Disney Plus as a series because you get the longer form storytelling.
And maybe this pitch is just that good. Like it seems like they're pretty confident with, even if we haven't heard anything for years about Tron, maybe it's finally, someone walked up into the room and just say, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, this is it. So we want to go forward with, which is exciting.
Super exciting. Yeah. Disney loves their franchises. We could see a lot of things coming from this.
Definitely.
Yep. So I think that about wraps the Tron stuff because I really don't have much more to offer. But
what was your favorite part of Tron Legacy, Nathan?
Rubber face. No. No, but yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see where things go. I do like Jared Leto, so I'm excited to see what he's got going on. Dude seems really fun on Snapchat. So it's still so crazy. Like I saw him post like set photos of Morbius on his Snapchat, and I guess nobody engaged on that or screenshot anything. And it's in the absence of time. Nobody has it. I'm just like, what the hell?
That's too funny. Because you know, like if any character or actor from the MCU like tweets out
to
or
do that, yeah,
do an Instagram post, everybody like, "Oh, do you guys see that in the background or whatever?" But for Morbius, like I don't care. It's Morbius.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jared Leto's on his like island cult. Not really, but
Yeah.
No, he was.
he
He was.
was just like I saw him just hanging out on an island of just like a bunch of fans and stuff.
He didn't know coronavirus was a thing until he came back like 3 weeks after it.
I think it was
or
almost
whatever.
a year ago at that point, but
Crazy.
it's nuts. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to dive into Tron itself, get on the knowledge. Moving on to our next topic of conversation, of which we have many. What did we say we should discuss next? Do you guys want to touch on the Star Trek?
Let's go into Star Trek. I have the article pulled up here.
Okay. Yeah, because I have like probably like a third of that info.
So yeah, for Star Trek, Deadline has reported that there's 3 potential new Star Trek movies in development right now, or I shouldn't say development, but they're considering the next kind of route to take for Star Trek, and one of them is the Noah Hawley directed Star Trek movie, which got reported, I think, first last year or 2 years ago now. It's been a while.
I think it was last year because remember who was the girl that jumped ship? What was her name?
Ah, dang it! It's a woman I felt so bad for because she was supposed to be
right. Yeah, she was supposed to be. She's directed. Why is she directed like Jessica Jones and?
Oh, that's gonna suck. I forget the name. But anyways, Noah Hawley was going to do it, and his pitch, I think, or the movie was supposed to be centered around a pandemic and feature a brand new cast.
Yes.
That was kind of like the main, that's all sources know about it. Like there's a pandemic, the team has to try and solve it. It's very Star Trek-y because Star Trek is always
I could see
environment.
I could see the exploration of a ship quarantine
definitely
type deal. That's fun for sure. I mean, diving into a psyche of the cabin fever of being stuck in space on a ship is only something briefly touched on the beginning of Beyond, but that's always something that's really piqued my interest.
Yeah. I like that first act of Beyond.
Dude, it's so good. I love the start. It feels so classic, the whole thing.
So good. So yeah, I remember this news came out. I was initially very excited because I was a Noah Hawley fan after seeing the first season of Legion. What else has he done again? Did he do the Fargo TV series?
TV. But he did Lucy in the Sky, which bombed.
Ooh, I heard it was bad all the way around. Yeah,
it's starring Natalie. You know, it's a bad movie when you have Natalie freaking Portman starring, and it doesn't. It just gets absolutely eviscerated at the box office, and I was excited to see that movie. Oh, you know what? I think I got pulled after a week of being in theaters or something because I remember I was I wanted to try and see it still.
Yeah.
And now I think it's on Hulu because I've seen it just scrolling on Hulu or whatever.
I was so fascinated from the constant changing aspect ratio, but not
the trailers are crazy.
Not in the way that Michael Bay did it messy with The Last Night, where he's just cutting between IMAX and regular shots.
No, it was
at random. Yeah. There was a flow to it.
Yeah, so I think he's definitely proved himself as a director in various TV shows. Not so much. I can't think if he's done any other. I think Lucy in the Sky may have been his feature debut.
I think
unless he's produced some other stuff. I feel he's produced stuff.
I'm looking at his IMDb and all it says is Lucy in the Sky, Legion, Fargo, and some other random movies I've never heard of.
Okay, well,
so yeah.
So that's why I think the sentence of this movie is going on hold because it's the subject matter is pandemic is maybe the pitch isn't as strong as they thought it was, or they're starting to kind of flesh out the details, and they're like, hey, the Star Trek 4 pitch is starting to look more appealing now, or the Tarantino movie.
The Tarantino one is what I actually picked up from the whole. I didn't get to dive deep into anything really except for that part.
We still don't know plot details on that one, and that was also like a year ago. Before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they were like, "Oh
I heard some stuff with it. First I heard that it looks like Tarantino isn't actually set to be directing it anymore, but
right,
they're going to use the semblance of like a storyline and script. And I think the story idea they were going for was an adventure set on Earth in like 1930s gangster New York type deal.
Yeah, that's what I was about to read here. It says like the movie would have largely been earthbound in a 30s gangster setting,
which is interesting because first I had heard that actually kind of stems from a storyline from the original series. But I actually could see something like this work. Like initially, when you hear Star Trek out of space back on Earth, like that sounds odd. Like why? But they've done it before. Like they had one of their original films, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, was actually like one of my personal favorites. It's hailed as a classic. Really, it's interesting. They actually like time travel back to like present day, like I think 80s New York, and like they have to get the like in the future. There's this spacecraft that's like about to like take out part of the Earth, and they have no communication with it, and the only semblance to get the frequency matches like humpback whales, which have since gone extinct by this century, so they have to go back to get the semblance of that.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is the whale movie. This is the Star Trek.
Yeah, it's the whale movie.
Okay, yeah, I've heard so much about it, but I heard mixed things, but mostly positive.
Pretty fun.
Yeah,
I think Larry Nimoy directed that one too.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I need to dive into the history of Star Trek because,
dude, same.
I'm so limited.
I have
to
a couple videos I can
Abrams
send you guys for like video essay explorations. So this,
I feel like it's so overwhelming because I just feel like there's so much Star Trek. Like it feels like there's like
there's so much.
There's like 20 movies and like a whole series and another series and then Picard. I don't even know what that is.
That's just like with Next Generation, but like you can like honestly just jump into any specific timeline you want. It's not like super deep connected.
Yeah, so, like comprehensive. Like
you can just like go on your own quest basically.
That's cool. That's what I've heard, that it's kind of like it kind of has that that feel where you can kind of just pick up on what's happening and enjoy any kind of place that you're at because you'll catch on and it won't be so like invested in what's come before. Obviously, loosely with whatever missions they're on and stuff, but
yeah, it's time. It's like history.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Quentin Tarantino was first announced, I was kind of skeptical. I still kind of am skeptical.
It's gonna be like a gory bloodbath in space. Like.
Yeah, Star Trek has always been about like, and granted, I've only seen the J.J. Abrams movies. But Star Trek has always been about like hope and the new frontier and this excitement,
peace treaties and stuff. Like
exactly,
yeah.
I can't see Quentin writing or even directing something like that in that kind of theme. You know what I mean? His
also, it's
so raw.
It's strange that he would kind of like, kind of drop and dump a script and then someone else would direct it.
It's super strange, right?
That someone would direct Quentin's script, and then I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it would not translate well from his writing to without his directing. I don't know. That's just
me. And he always says like, "I'm only going to do one more film," and I can't imagine this being his last film. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I never saw that coming to fruition as his final.
Mm-hmm.
But that leads us to the last pitch, which is
real quick.
Oh, sorry.
There's this in the article here. It says like one of the other parts of his pitch here was that Kirk would travel back in time and fall in love with a woman who turns out to inadvertently change history unless she dies.
I think that kind of happened in Star Trek 4.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, if you guys want to like get an semblance of that film, you should just watch Star Trek 4.
Star Trek 4? Okay, cool.
The whale movie. I'm gonna watch it.
Which is funny because that's actually the first Star Trek movie I was in.
Is it on CBS All Access or whatever?
Probably, if we're being honest.
Which I have now.
There's a Big Brother.
Because of Big Brother.
They should have every Star Trek on there, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, getting into the final one now, the Star Trek 4 rumor, which has always been in.
Please.
I need it, man.
In the air. I'm shocked, and I'm not shocked that this hasn't come out yet. Like, because granted, Star Trek, the first one, 2009, I think is JJ's masterpiece. I think that's his best film. Even though I prefer to watch The Force Awakens, I think Star Trek is a better film. And that came out in an era in 2009 where the MCU was still young. It had like 1 year in its belt with The Incredible Hulk and Iron Man.
Yeah, there's 2 films.
The DCEU wasn't a thing. Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy was like just had Batman Begins. So Star Trek was like this big blockbuster and event. And it made
they had Dark Knight.
Oh, Dark Knight.
2008.
But no Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, Star Trek, the first one was like this big event. And then huge blockbuster.
I think I remember the teaser was like a grand. I remember like seeing on like, I think it was on like my Crystal Skull DVD. And like they were just, you just see the construction of this giant thing with Chris Pine on a motorcycle. I'm like,
on a motorcycle. Oh man.
And it's just like revealing the stuff. And I'm like, oh, but I wasn't a fan until after I actually got to see it.
Yeah. My dad was a huge fan. He hyped me up so much for that movie because I'm like, Dad, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm not a Star Trek fan. He took me to the theater and I fell in love with it.
I think, I would probably like say of like all the great, like, I would say like top 3 scenes JJ has ever done is probably the intro to that film. It's with Chris Hemsworth. It's just
good.
It's so good, dude. Like,
which is Chris Hemsworth's first acting role. Like that's
and like I'll just be watching it like random. I was watching it on its own and I'm like, why am I already crying like 3 minutes into the movie?
It's so captivating. You're like, oh my gosh, like who is this guy? Later we know he's Thor, but like Chris Hemsworth was killing it in that scene.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And then after that, like cuts down to Earth right after that, and you just. One of my favorite shots is him on the motorcycle, and then it tilts up, and you just see like the whole infrastructure of like the whole deal that he's now in and
the Enterprise,
the Enterprise. It's just I love that.
It's so good, and that teaser trailer, I can't stress enough, guys. We have to watch it one day, live reaction, because. It's so good. Like some days, I'm like, you know what? Let me just watch the Star Trek 2009 teaser trailer. Just one of the favorite lines is like, "We need a captain," and then it pins up to Chris Pine. He's like, "We have one." I'm like, "Oh my god,
dude!" It's so good. Like the flow of command, like being transferred throughout. It's so like.
Oh my god, I'm getting chills just thinking about this freaking movie.
It's like. Fucking, he made him first officer, and just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me! Like, I will say, like, the cast is just so
perfect.
Their chemistry together is insane.
And I think probably the best casting of all of them was probably, I would say, Carl Urban for Bones. He's great.
He's so funny.
Yeah, so funny.
Good. But speaking of the cast, that has kind of been the hiccup with getting this coming back. Is because Chris Pine is a huge star. Like he was back. He was a star back then, but like now he's got 3 Star Treks, Wonder Woman,
Hell or High Water,
Hell or High Water, a handful of other indie movies, and I think a TV show with Patty Jenkins.
Yeah,
that murder mystery show.
Which I think didn't get renewed for season 2. I could be wrong.
I didn't hear anything about it.
It was a mini series.
Like seeing some trailers.
I think it was just a mini series. Yeah.
Anyways, so he wants a lot of money.
Man,
he does. And Chris Hemsworth, right?
And Hemsworth, because the pitch was that he was going to come back,
which is so fascinating,
so cool.
I think even like the semblance of like the original Star Trek series, like the first episode isn't even like Kirk and everybody. I think it is actually Kirk's dad. For the start of it, which is interesting for the first ever episode. But yeah, it's interesting.
And then you got to pay Saldana. She's been in everything, every franchise there ever is.
Avatar and Avengers, yeah.
I think it'd be pretty easy to get Zachary Quinto back because he's just kind of doing that vampire show right now.
And who else?
John Cho.
Yeah, he's been doing more. Didn't he direct?
Direct.
What was that film called? Searching,
which is one of the most underrated movies.
I need to see
of the decade.
Is it all from the perspective of the laptop?
Yes, please watch it. It's incredible.
I have the Blu-ray. Let me send it to you.
Okay. If you have a code.
Searching is fantastic. Yeah, I don't think I use a digital code. Hopefully it's still available. But
usually
it's incredible. It's one of the best movies of the decade.
It's so funny. He came from like a stoner comedy background with Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, I know, right?
Played the God.
Oh, also he was in what was it called? The movie with Haley Lou Richardson. It's about architecture.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Columbus. This is also such a lovely movie. I think yeah.
I'm looking up who was the girl that played Beyond. Sorry.
Oh, Sophia Boutella.
Yes. I
she was so unrecognizable and Beyond the White Alien with the
Sophia Boutella. Yeah. I mean, she's also been really good in a lot of great side roles ever since.
Yeah, I love. She's great in Kingsman.
She was great in The Mummy. Just kidding. I mean, she was great, but the movie is terrible.
And we got Simon Pegg too, so it's a fat paycheck to get all these people back.
Which didn't Pegg write Beyond?
I'm about to say, Pegg was writing it. He was trying his best to like keep it afloat.
That's right.
I trust the man with it. I mean,
and maybe they're still going off a version of that script. I don't know.
Maybe, but for that movie, there's no director attached. For the last one, we had like Quentin Tarantino. Before that, we had Noah Hawley. For this one, it's just like a continuation with nothing attached to it.
I will say, I am like very. I'm happy they didn't make any adjustments to Chekhov's story since the passing of Anton.
Oh,
but
dude.
Which is so sad, and I'm happy they paid tribute to both him and Leonard Nimoy at the end credits for Beyond. But I am like really happy that they just like respect everything they shot and just kept it like Last Jedi with Carrie. They just like kept everything going. And I'm pretty sure it would be easy to just like write in like transfers of like shifts and crew for moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like pointing out like I'm happy they kept his stuff intact. And obviously like they should never recast. They shouldn't do that.
But what was your thoughts on the whole money situation? Because it was interesting. I think Chris Pine is
okay. Beyond
is Chris Hemsworth also at money conflict, or
I think
it was mostly Pine. I believe it was Pine.
I think it was Pine. I kept seeing Pine and Hemsworth, but it was so long ago that I forget. But Pine is so interesting. I think Pine, in my opinion, is the best Chris that we have in terms of acting ability.
In terms of Evans, Pratt, and Hemsworth?
Yes, in terms of Evans, Pratt, and Hemsworth, I would say Pine, Evans, Pratt, Hemsworth. In terms of acting ability, not in terms of star power, but acting ability. But I think the whole star power thing is interesting because that's probably why they're not budging. He's not a big star compared to Evans or Pratt, or especially Hemsworth in that matter. He can't lead a movie outside of Star Trek, and even then, Star Trek is more of a franchise. They come to see Star Trek.
It's an ensemble, really.
Yeah, they come to see the cast, and they come to see Star Trek. They don't come to see Pine specifically.
Yeah, they're not there just for Kirk. They're there for the crew.
Yeah, and Star Trek is in a difficult spot because it's a movie franchise, especially the J.J. Abrams ones, or at least 2009, Into Darkness, and then beyond. It's a slippery slope. It's a declining slope of
and
growth.
Here is the numbers for that slippery slope.
Oh dear.
So they spent, the movie lost $50.5 million overall, all said and done, which is
Beyond.
Yeah, because
Dang.
Their budget was $185 million, which is bonkers for. I mean, it's a Star Trek, but so I'm thinking if I'm Paramount right now, I'm trying to get Star Trek 4 done for like a cool, like 90 to 125 million. I would say like that would be the sweet spot.
You could do it though.
Yes, you could totally do it.
Easy. Yeah.
And if you write a more grounded script, like that doesn't have like giant radio frequency battles. Granted, I absolutely love that whole sequence. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Incredible.
Beastie Boys so good.
But anyways, I think you can get it done. So really, it's just a matter of negotiations, I guess. Like I think you can get a Star Trek 4 done for $100 million production budget and make a profit.
But are people going to see that? Are they still interested in Star Trek in a world where we have 4 Marvel movies coming out soon, 3 DC movies Avatar is coming back.
it should
Star Wars
be.
is still huge.
So good.
Maybe
It's a
in
good
It's
franchise.
crazy.
maybe somewhere in a semblance where we don't have a Star Wars movie in theaters for a time.
Mm. This
Before
is the
20
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm-
because it's already been 3 years since Beyond, which is already horrifying.
Yeah.
It's been
So,
that.
but it is concerning because Beyond's worldwide total was only 343 million,
Mm.
and
But do we chalk that up to the marketing?
But even the first Star Trek wasn't a huge. I mean, it was a huge hit, but it wasn't like comparative now, like a big box. I think the first Star Trek made like 400 or 500. I think.
I think it was it was weird because it was an instance where like a lot of like old school fans like it was a big shift because it wasn't like so
Yeah.
similar. It was made for a new set generation. Diving into stuff.
Yeah,
But regardless-
2009 made 385 million.
How much did Into Darkness make?
domestically or worldwide.
I think worldwide. Let me see here. Star Trek. Scroll. Yeah.
But anyway,
385.
Wow.
Maybe expectations were a lot lower before Avengers broke the world.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And but on the Wikipedia, then just talking about the release, since it lost 50.5 million, so it would have had to clear $400 million at the box office to make a profit, essentially. Which I think you need to make a Star Trek movie that clears at 250.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I don't know. So this is all what they're juggling right now, and it's like, it's that's why they have 3 pitches. Is like, if we go with a new cast, we don't have those giant cast paychecks for a huge ensemble.
True.
And so you're gauging, okay, what's more of a pull here? The ongoing cast and storyline, and that dynamic going on. Can we re-energize the franchise with that, or do we just start fresh, save money knowingly from the start, and then if we make a better product or better movie, but it's new, will people go see it because it doesn't have ensembles?
That's a thing. Is just like whenever I hear like once again there is another new set Star Trek, I'm just like, well, okay, once again, but like I have no like initial intrigue to just jump into something new again and again. I think they would probably bank better off of the returning cast.
I do too.
I don't know. I think even if they do the new cast with a new pitch, that new cast has to be appealing to people, right? You're gonna have to get somebody.
So you're gonna have to
in
have
the
a big.
why.
You're gonna have to have a Chris Pine.
If they wanted to do a reset for New Adventures, I would be intrigued if they went a route of like bridging, because like back when they were still making original movies, they had one of the films called Star Trek Generations, which basically bridged from the original series to the Next Generation series.
So it's very
in a
Star
sense.
Trek, all right, to do kind of those hand out torch kind of deal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they're already in an semblance of like the existing series going side by side. So if they wanted to like branch to like a new set of crew and cast instead of having to get the returning crew every time, they wanted to like wrap up their story one more time, but also have them work with a new crew, cast for the Next Generation type crew, which are such big, if not the biggest fan favorite series of all of them. I think that could be something intriguing to do. But then that also gets kind of tough because you want to get not just like great casting for these beloved characters from Next Generation. You also want to make sure they're in the longevity for the long run.
Exactly. It's a difficult spot for any new franchise in this era. There's so many big blockbusters with so many release dates. Like a couple of weeks ago, we went through the whole 2021 release calendar year, and it's just jam packed for the next couple of years. So,
and you know what? They found their niche kind of on CBS. There's 2 shows now, Discovery and
Picard.
Picard, yeah.
So maybe they're gauging it and saying, hey, if the theatrical market isn't working, we're going to keep fleshing out this universe in the TV realm, the streaming realm of things, which of course is probably very appealing at the same time.
Always very appealing, which is kind of nervous for me because I always like prefer to see movies instead of TV series,
Yeah.
even though streaming is so popular right now. And I don't even know how popular Picard and Discovery are. Granted, they're getting new seasons, but I can't tell numbers on those kind of streaming services.
I think I heard Picard was a little rocky for OG fans, but like they're still kind of there because it's still Patrick Stewart and Brett Spiner.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, I remember this kind of ties into kind of maybe the fall off of the J.J. Abrams era is for a long time Paramount was pushing really hard back at any fans trying to make any kind of fan content. Do you guys remember like that there was a big, I can't remember what the production was called, but there was a big Star Trek fan film that raised like a substantial budget.
Oh, wow.
And basically Paramount sued them and got it shut down because it was,
I remember that. Wow.
Just because it was in the name and the brand.
Yeah.
And, with other franchises, of course, you see hundreds of Star Wars fan films and other things. And that
they've had fan film awards in Korea.
Right, it recirculates into, the breadth of the fandom and all that. So I think that in an instance too is kind of, from a Hollywood perspective, is kind of pushed back on the movies. Not that it incrementally affects the box office, but it certainly has kind of the conversation of Star Trek is not as big as it was in 2010, right after the big movie and Resurgence came out, because there's been some pushback on what fans can actually express themselves as. So I think it's definitely a factor.
Yeah, I will say Paramount, CBS, Viacom, all that together, they're the worst in terms of copyright here on YouTube. They just
oh really? I didn't know that.
They'll shut you down immediately and just tear you apart.
And it's a bummer too, because it's these are the people that build your brand. Why would
a month ago I tried reacting to the first episode of the show, which I think the first episode came out back in 2010, 2011. I was yeah, I want to check this out, and it's 3 hours later it just shut me down, blocked all the way through, and I was God, why Viacom?
That's
crazy.
And right now, how much money on SpongeBob, and you're just coming after me?
Right now, Paramount is looking for a franchise. What do they have? Did they have Mission Impossible, which is
which might be about to end for all we know.
Exactly, it might be about to end with 7 and 8. So
it's certainly gonna be bankable, but it's gonna end.
They need a franchise. They don't have a huge. I don't think they have James Bond, right? That's Universal.
I mean, they're not running Indiana Jones anymore, right?
No, that's Disney now.
They're rethinking Transformers, right?
They have Transformers.
Please continue with Bumblebee.
Remember the news? Was it who got the director of I can't remember, but they said they're doing a writer's room or something for the live action movies, but somebody got an animated feature Transformers movie, and I can't remember who it is.
Animated?
Do you remember this news, Nathan?
Well, no, I just remember.
So, you're saying an animated movie is coming up?
Yeah, I feel like it was from one of the Toy Story, one of the people that
I remember hearing about the 2D thing. I was that's interesting.
Yeah, no, let me try to get this up.
I know there's a series on Netflix.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
But it was kind of a big deal because people are yes, this is.
I think it might have been connected to the OG 80s series.
Oh, okay. I just looked it up. The next installment in the Transformers franchise is animated in 2022. That one?
Yes. Transformers
in production.
Who is?
Directed by Josh Cooley from Toy Story 4. Okay.
A lot of fans
were
hey, this is dope because a lot of the popularity from the Transformers franchise comes from those animated series, and so a huge big budget Transformers animated movie is incredibly exciting and just a complete switch up from the Bay movies. Not that it's saying it's a huge franchise or whatever, but they have that and the other Transformer stuff, but who knows what's even gonna happen with that. I hope we get another Bumblebee. I love Bumblebee, but
Bumblebee's fantastic.
It was so fun. He's a Camaro now again.
It says it's going to be a prequel animated movie to see what Optimus Prime and Megatron were like before they had to go to Earth.
I will say it was like so. What a great opening of Bumblebee to like actually be on the Cybertron world. It's like literally the original '80s show brought to life because they have the same aesthetics as the original cartoon. Everything was great.
You know what? John Cena is so cheesy in that movie, but it's perfect.
Oh, I liked it. I thought he was pretty amazing. It's like one of the rare moments where I'm like, all right. It was one of the rare moments where I'm like, all right, John Cena.
Yeah, like John Cena. Come on, I had a blast with this character. I mean, he's not much. And
better
also,
than the other military.
I love the ending scene. The ending scene where he turns into the car, the Camaro, and then Haley Steinfeld's in the mirror, and it's like objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. I was like, oh, my heart.
Jurassic Park.
Literally, it's like that. Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. I want to see more. It was funny. Like the other day, one of the Scoop guys tweeted out a photo of Shia LaBeouf. Everybody's like, is he coming back?
Oh my god.
And it's like, no, he's not. I think it was for a semblance of a Marvel thing. I think somebody's eyeing him for Iceman in the X-Men. But I don't know. I don't know if that would pay off. But I was like, if you wanted to like retcon reincorporate a Shia LaBeouf Bumblebee connection, like I'll take it. But
I won't. He's a horrible character in this movie.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Retcon to a new character.
He was bad. His script was all like Bumblebee.
Like, yeah, I'm thinking of that clip that I've seen going around. Like, this is a collector's edition.
Are you Ladies Man 217?
Oh god, those movies were bad, man.
It's
Fox because she was absolutely just taken advantage of for.
Oh yeah, that's
the male gaze and just the whole era of those Michael Bay movies of just like. If I don't know if you guys are like rewatching.
Every female in those movies are.
Yeah, but it's absurd. Like her opening scene in that movie is just like, oh my god, that's. I remember she was in the second Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
She's in the first one too.
Oh, she was. I can't.
Yeah, she's in both. She's literally April O'Neil, like the main girl.
Okay, well,
I didn't see that. I didn't see those movies.
I did. I saw them both in theaters.
The Green Arrow guy was in that movie.
Yeah,
too.
Stephen Amell is Casey Jones in the sequel. No, it's funny. Like one day on Twitter, like Stephen Amell was like this year, like he was promoting like one of those like preset like, hey, text me at this number thing, and I like I texted him. I was like, what's up, Casey Jones? Like not Green Arrow, just Casey Jones.
Wow.
That was funny. But yeah. How do we get to Transformers?
Well, I guess Mutant Ninja Turtles is also Paramount too.
Yeah, it is. I don't think they're continuing though. I mean, it's like it was 2016. I think the last one was.
Paramount is having some bad luck with their franchises, man.
Please,
I just heard them announce they're doing a Patrick Star show, even though everybody wants SpongeBob to end.
Oh, jeez. Facepalm.
Yes.
Anyways, I think.
What's next? Yeah.
Let's jump.
Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man. Yeah, let's talk Spider-Man. This one was interesting because I don't get why studios are just like, yeah, we're eyeing for a Joel Kinnaman type. Well, just say you want Joel Kinnaman.
Right.
Like I'm sure he'd be happy to. Like he just did Suicide Squad and I think Altered Carbon on Netflix, which I haven't checked out, but I heard some good stuff.
My brother loves Altered Carbon.
Didn't it switch like Anthony Mackie's the star of season 2?
I guess so. I don't know what happened at the end of season 1, but I assume Joel Kinnaman's not back, so theorize what you will. But
anthology, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I heard I think Joel Kinnaman's a great actor. I don't know if he's right for Spider-Man though. I mean,
I was intrigued because like every time I try to think of an actor to fill this potential villain role, because I imagine what they're going to go for, especially in just the plot they have set up, is they're going to go for Kraven, which I think is the best move. Like it's not just a new villain; it's a villain who's so driven to hunt the best prey possible. He wants to be like the top predator, and like, you know, the Spider-Man who's always evading him. Like, and now his identity's out in the world. That's a way easier to target to lock on.
Crash course on Kraven for me.
Yeah, kind of. I think
read the comics, Carson.
This basically, I'm going to be going off of my knowledge from the '90s animated series, which is pretty good.
Pretty accurate to the comic books.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't know if you were joking, but kind of.
I'm serious. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think he had like a connection with this this woman. They were like a couple, and she kind of like works kind of like veterinary for like zoo animal type exotic animals, and I think he has some assortment of like heightened senses from weird serum stuff because it's comics. And he's basically just like, I think he might have come from like a safari hunting background, but like, yeah, he's just like big into like the hunt of stuff, and he's very animalistic. Yeah, I think he's also like Russian, with just like big lion overcoat and everything. It's a crazy suit with like spotted pants.
Yeah,
but
So
I'd be excited to see. I would love to see the translation of like on screen suit with how well they pulled off Mysterio's costume. I would love to see what they did with Kraven. It was funny because like for the longest time, a lot of people pitched somebody like Gerard Butler for Kraven, which I don't think Gerard Butler's like. I think like he has the look. I don't know if he has really acting.
Gerald.
This is Sparta.
Tie into like the further like Sinister Six thing with like
For sure.
do you think they're gonna do that in Spider-Man? Do you think this kind of casting, like, kind of hint is further evidence that they're going into that?
I figured they were doing that with Spider-Man 1. Yeah,
broadening and like again with like the setup of Michael Keaton's Vulture and Morbius. I think.
And the post credit scene of what is it, Homecoming?
Yeah, Homecoming has Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Michael Mando.
So you got Scorpion, Vulture. I think Mysterio's still alive. Because you don't waste that. Kraven.
They kind of already did.
Okay, we'll bring him back. Come on, he's a man of trickery. They took drones.
It was another projection. Oh my god.
Probably no. Honestly, they did take drones. Like watching back, they did take like a bunch of drones. So
yeah, and there are a lot of the scientists are still alive. I think Jake is dead.
Yeah, like the main dude they pulled.
The main dude,
Iron Man.
Exactly.
The drones.
Yeah. So I think he could still do a Mysterio kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So out of they got Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio. They could have Kraven and Morbius, and they could add another one. Like
I doubt they'll do Morbius.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes, but I don't know what they'll pull off. It's like the same instance of like if they're gonna pull in Morbius, I'd imagine like at some future they'd want to ideally bring in.
Amy Pascal is in that meeting, just like
Feige's like, yeah, no.
And granted, I don't want Venom on the Sinister Six just because of his anti-hero nature.
Of course, you can't.
I think it'd be better like if they were to somehow pull in the future the Spider-Man Venom team up against Carnage, even though we're about to get Carnage immediately.
I think that would happen in a Venom 3 situation,
probably,
but not a what's it called? I don't think we're going to see any of the Sony movie characters in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
It's tricky. I think they're solely. I mean, I think they'll solely stick.
I think he can. I think Feige can. Does he want to? I don't think.
I think they'll stick with in Spidey's films, but if they do, they're not going to have like too many big heroes in Spidey's films. Probably like Happy at most.
Yeah.
And another like instance of like that, there's like still one open spot for Sinister Six, and like a lot of instances normally have come down to.
It has to be. You know, it has to be, right?
I'd imagine they'd probably, and it would be great for like their big bad for it to be Doc Ock as.
I'm about to say the best Spider-Man villain of all time. It has to be.
He really is. I mean, honestly, like even though like Norman's such the arch nemesis for Green Goblin, like it really is like Doc Ock is like the pinnacle from being that mentor role to just it essentially is Peter Parker like a villainous.
Who would you guys cast as Doc Ock?
We were talking about this in chat the other day, and like it's so hard to choose. I mean, I remember like the internet for like the longest time was pitching Mark Hamill for Doc Ock, and like I don't hate that.
I do.
Okay.
That came across very bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. Out of like the assemblance of like, I mean, Michael Keaton's very old, and he just did Vulture.
You're very true. Very true.
I mean, all they have to do is put Mark Hamill in like some braids, and they got CGI arms. Like,
I just you're selling me on it because the Michael Keaton thing. It's a good argument.
I think he's in
and Michael Keaton's gonna be back as Batman too. I'm like, dude, you're too old.
I'm like, right, and like again, he's in Morbius again. Like, so.
Okay, you're selling me on Mark Hamill. But I don't know. I'm thinking somebody like not maybe younger, but 40s, exactly 40ish,
which is totally fair. And it was intriguing.
I can't think of anybody right now.
It was really cool, like watching like the pitch like that was going around Twitter of randomly like having Bob Odenkirk as Norman Osborn. I was like, I would never have thought of that, but it looks
perfect.
It looks
That's
really
so good. Oh my
I like
gosh.
Then somebody joked and was like, make Bryan Cranston Doc Ock, and I was like, bro.
Of course. Yeah,
But at the same time,
that'd be good. But they want Bryan Cranston to be anything in these comic book movies. He'll be great Osborn too.
Isn't that funny? Wouldn't that be a funny case though, where it was like if Saul and Walter White flip roles?
That would be great. I would love that.
Guys, what do you
yeah.
I was just looking.
Mhm.
What do you think if Javier Bardem did a comic book movie? Because he has not. I don't know. I could see him playing.
I'm down for that.
I'm more confident in Javier in a DC movie than a Marvel movie. Because
Really?
I feel like just seeing him in, I didn't see him, but in the Pirates movies, he's so over the top.
Yeah, he's
But,
also. I mean, he also looks really wonky. With
I can see the MCU wanting him to get nuts like they did with Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, kind of a crazy character towards the end there. I don't know.
I forgot they actually had that shield guard in Far From Home that drove the bus, Dimitri, I think his name was. He's actually I think his character is supposed to be Chameleon, the Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Maybe we have the whole Sinister Six. I don't know.
It's so interesting because I thought Sinister Six would be the next Spider-Man movie, but if you don't even have Doc Ock, they might have to save Sinister Six for Spider-Man 6.
Yeah,
when he's in college. I don't know. It could be possible.
Which would be a great setup of just again that mentor role.
But yeah, they've been setting up Sinister Six for a long time now. It's just,
and they did a great semblance of all the villain story. And I don't want to spoil anything because Carson hasn't played the Spider-Man PS4 game completely. But they did phenomenal with that Spider-Man story of everything.
Yeah, Spider-Man dies at the end. Ooh, crap! My bad. Oh no.
No, Miles is still around. We have to train him first. Then he can die.
Then he can die.
Then he can be Miles's uncle, part 2.
But yeah, going back to Kraven. So I think are the Scoop people confident that Kraven's going to be the main villain? Is that what it's gearing towards now at this point?
Probably, and even just not even taking Scoops into consideration, I really feel like it's the only logical next step of just
with somebody being on the run, is a hunt.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna bring in somebody like Norman, which would be dumb to just not just to do again, but just so soon, but just in the whole assemblage of everything where the whole world is converging on Peter. It's you don't want to do this now,
right?
I feel like they've planted a lot of seeds for Norman Osborn in the MCU,
which I'm down for. And the semblance of they were selling Avengers Tower and Homecoming.
That's what I was about to say.
I can see that.
Do you think he's going to be more of a side thing
in the next one?
Just overall. Do you think
yeah, I think they'll tease him out first.
Okay,
they kind of already have.
It's interesting because if somehow the studios actually get their way to get 3 trilogies out of Tom.
It's possible.
It'd be possible if they could really lock on.
If they do 3 films now, by the end of Spider-Man 6, he'll be early 30s, which is so young.
And what I would totally do is in the semblance of, let's break it down. This first trilogy 100% do high school, second trilogy do college, and then have his adult years for the final 3, where you could do your Miles setup.
Where he's professor, yeah. That'd be fantastic.
It's funny because I wanted to just touch on the Avengers Tower gang. So because other people also theorize it could also be the Baxter Building for Fantastic Four, but I don't think you drop that in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
Even though it's a world of connections. I just
remember that thing at Far From Home. It said the street sign says 1, 2, 3, and then 4 was we're coming or something like that.
Right.
So it's so there's a little tease
I think that was pre-Fox as well. So it was
yeah, or it was a pre-tease to either Fantastic Four or Phase 4 because 4 is whatever.
It's so weird hearing these stories because even back in 2012 with the first Avengers, they were supposed to have Oscorp Tower from the Amazing Spider-Man in there, but they didn't have enough time to paint it in. And going even further back, Hugh Jackman was supposed to be Wolverine in the first Spider-Man film, but they didn't have access to the Wolverine suit. It was locked in a vault, so they only had one day. They couldn't film it, so it didn't happen. Yeah. These rare chances are why we don't have pre-wonky existing universes that we have today.
And there's a deleted scene of Sam Jackson walking in on Iron Man saying like, "We have people climbing on walls, spider people
Yeah, it was
climbing
like radioactive
on walls,
insects, mutants,
radioactive insects." Yeah, so I'm like
I
mutants.
think legally you were like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, he's like, just tease Avengers. Yeah, but
have you guys seen that weird deleted scene from the OG Fantastic Four with Mr. Fantastic like alters like his facial shape and hair to look like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but it's
I think I have seen that. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's so weird. I mean, it's a deleted scene from like a 2000s movie, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, I think.
Thanks, Fox.
But yeah, I think Osborn would be. Oh, also in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the what's his name? They're trying to make that deal early on in the movie, and he's like, my boss here really wants that.
With Walter Goggins.
With Walter Goggins, I'm like, who's the boss? Who's like this mysterious guy with a ton of money?
Down for. I mean, they actually did
Osborn.
drop. They dropped a hint to Spider-Man in the first Ant-Man, so I wouldn't be
exactly. So, which is why people think like his boss could be Osborn, and whatever. Which
I'd totally be down for that. I think it would make sense.
I would love that too.
Scientific, they are, and again, like somewhere down the line, I really want Venom to work out, and I really want it to pan out properly. If they wanted to use Tom Hardy's, I feel like they have to. Already, the history is altered for like comic origin, but I think they could still do it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the comic book movies don't really follow the comics anyway, so
right.
Yeah, I fully expect if Tom Holland isn't in some kind of tease or post-credit scene in Venom 2, he's definitely going to be in like Venom 3.
That was an interesting thing because like on Twitter, I was following this person who like worked at a movie theater, and like early on they saw Venom and they teased where like there was like this line that says like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Parker," and I was like, what? Is there going to be a Peter Parker end credit scene? And I go, and it's a clip from Spider-Verse. And they're like, what is happening? Like, I was just wondering, like, I'm so hyped to see what this is going to be. And then they blindsided me with animation. I was like, oh. It's so cool, but I was like, oh, damn.
I hope everything sticks to landing. Like, I'm just so curious to see, especially what the fallout looks like after this trilogy ends. Like, what, because doesn't the deal, what was the deal that they agreed on?
The deal is
I think it's just the next movie right now.
The next movie, Spider-Man 3, and Spider-Man gets one appearance in an upcoming MCU movie, which is probably, if they really want to save him up, like just do Avengers 5 to save him up for that.
Yeah, and I think like for the next like big heroes that they're setting up for like even on Disney Plus when they got like She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and Miss Marvel. Yeah, I think that's.
Oh yeah, and the Spider-Man What If show just does not count. I think somebody said that.
Oh yeah, they're making that
because he's voice acting it or supposed to be.
Yeah.
Spider-Man What If? That's interesting.
Because Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to voice act for that series too. But
if that's the only way I get my Andrew, Toby, Tom Spider-Verse,
it's so good.
That'd be fun.
Forever pitch. I mean, honestly, if they also wanted to do that for a storyline, I'd totally be down. But
yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man 3. I left Spider-Man 2 saying it was very focused on Iron Man again. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I
guess at the same time, though, it was meant to be the epilogue for the Infinity Saga as well, because that's why they included him after Endgame.
Totally fair, but I felt like that's still a limitation on Spider-Man's movie potential.
I do like. Again, I continuously defend and apologize that they do like progress him to like no, you're not Iron Man. Just like focus on being you, and it's like okay,
Iron Man Jr.
Stop it.
Like I want no Iron Man references in this one. No Iron Man references.
I don't think you'll get I think you'll get like side like equipment, but you won't get like you won't get Tony. It won't be like Tony specific.
What would Tony do, Peter? Oh my god.
No.
Despite all of our differences on this topic, guys, Spider-Man 3 is now a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
For now, I don't know. I feel like nothing sticks in these changes. I would be totally down though. I mean, it's the first live action Christmas. And if they wanted to like have Peter on the run and like it actually is a Christmas setting with snow and stuff, like Iron Man 3. But
Iron Man 3 was also a Christmas movie, don't forget.
Yeah, it's full circle.
Oh god, no.
Peter finds Extremis Part 2.
Oh gosh, no.
No. Yeah, like he has to fight the man. Shang-Chi.
Oh god. If they put Iron Man references, they're probably gonna do an Iron Man reference in Shang-Chi as well too. It's just
maybe not though. I mean,
Tony Stark has fought with the 7 rings before, so what would he do now? Or 10 rings before? So,
well, I mean, I feel like a passing line isn't bad. It's already a preset universe, but
bad.
So when
it's just set up of like the organization we know. It's like
Bad.
I mean, you watch Agents of Shield. The whole origin was fun. Everything. 6 whole movies. Like,
don't use Agents of Shield against me, Mister.
The first episode is like, oh, what's this extremist thing? Oh, it's Iron Man 3. Like,
yeah.
what Shield's falling? Like,
Agent of Shield's references are so on the nose. They're like, wink, wink.
I mean, they were at the start when they were actually
early on season 1.
When they were aligning with Phase 2, yeah, but like now I still have to like catch up on the latter seasons, but like they progressed like, so far beyond.
They're so crazy and weird.
I can't wait to see them again.
I think I stopped watching after. Did I get through 3 seasons?
You stopped watching after 3 seasons? Are you crazy?
I stopped after season 4 just because I ran out of Netflix stuff that was available. So now that it's available, I gotta get back.
I think I got to the part where like they were trying to like contain her for some reason. I can't remember why.
You gotta be more specific, I think.
No,
Quake? The main girl, the
Quake.
Chloe Bennett, yeah.
Chloe Bennett.
Yeah.
I just remember they were trying to like contain her because like the powers were like getting out of
control. Yeah, dude. Because she's got like those set gauntlets now, right?
Yeah, she's so amazing.
Right after that point. And
I got to the point where I got to the season with Ghost Rider with Robbie Reyes, which is he's so great.
Fantastic season. Yeah.
Does he come back after season 4? Has he ever come back?
Nope.
Damn. Dude, I'm so sad because I remember like
crazy.
I think at the end of season 4. I think I remember at the end of season 4, he was like he like Doctor Strange style opened a portal with his chain.
Yeah.
Dude, it blew my mind seeing that effect. I was like, oh my god, and you tell me he doesn't come back. No, I'm sad.
He kind of gets referenced because he has some kind of secret deal with Philip Coulson, which I don't want to spoil, but that's about it.
I mean, I remember hearing that they were going to do a Robbie Reyes show. I hope that's not
so disappointing. It died. It got canceled. Yeah, he made a tweet saying like he's so disappointed.
Because honestly, if they like were to bring to the big screen Ghost Rider, definitely use him. Because Gabriel Luna is pretty great.
Oh my god, he's the best part of Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, I was watching. I was just like,
Dark Fate,
great. And I was just like, I miss him as Robbie Reyes, and he looks so comic accurate too. In his he's a
great actor. Yeah,
everything. So we went to TV again.
Yeah, we did.
It's my cup of tea. We didn't say specifically. It was
my cup of TV.
Oh, nice.
Okay, streaming Thursdays, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Nice.
It's too hard to talk about everything.
Back together with the idea of Joel Kinnaman as Kraven.
Yeah,
I'm down. I feel I always expected somebody like a bit like more built up to be Kraven, but I think they could totally do that for him. Like they got the regimens.
He can beef up. I don't think he's going to be Kraven. I don't think it'll turn out for him, even though it said Joel Kinnaman type actor. I don't know what other actor has that similar build. A lot of actors have similar build to Joel Kinnaman.
The Rock.
No, gosh.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yikes. I know.
It's because we were talking about Uncharted before we went live.
We were.
It would be so bad.
I don't know. I think Kraven's a great villain. I can see once they get the casting, I'll be like, oh, that's perfect casting. Because Marvel hardly ever fails with great casting.
Sarah Haley Finn doesn't miss.
When you go from Michael Keaton and Jake Gyllenhaal, you had to have somebody on their level, and Joel Kinnaman just isn't, in my opinion.
Yet, well, I mean, at the same time, when you think of like popular characters, like Kraven isn't like the top A list. Like, I'll probably put him B most.
I think people know him more than Mysterio.
I don't know, because Mysterio is very distinct with his fishbowl.
True.
I mean, granted, like it's all a weird like a common because like when you think Spider-Man villains, your immediate thought isn't necessarily Vulture or
no, you're right. Yeah,
it's what we've seen countless times is like Venom, Green Goblin,
and Doc Ock. That's it. Yeah.
Sandman, maybe just because we've had Spider-Man 3.
Because Spider-Man 3, everybody grew up in that movie.
It's crazy. Thomas Hayden Church looks so comic accurate because it's a simplistic costume. But the dude just like he did great too, honestly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the future of this because I'm excited. I'm just happy that I guess like maybe it was a year ago we had that scare that they weren't actually going to continue with Disney, and like I was in such a panic because I was just dead on the cliffhanger forever. And I even made like a fan edit of like it was the Iron Man death from Endgame, but like instead of like being pulled away by Pepper, it's Sony pulling it from Marvel. I was like, oh god, why did I make this just to suffer?
That was a crazy week.
Oh my god,
or 2 weeks.
But I'm excited to see where the future of Spider-Man goes, and even the future of.
Yeah, I think they'll continue to keep on. Sony and Disney will just continue redoing their deal over and over.
Because why wouldn't you? I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
and I think honestly they would probably benefit from striking like whatever their new deal would be to get like their actual like Marvel properties onto Disney Plus. I think that would be well done because they already have like all that semblance of Spider-Man collection because Disney makes like everything that's not.
Is the '90s Spider-Man show on Disney Plus?
It is, which is great.
I gotta watch that.
Oh, it even like recently, the guy that voices '90s Spider-Man said he would. I mean, who wouldn't?
Oh, he
like,
would come back for Spider-Verse, right?
For Spider-Verse 2, and I was like, please finish his arc. like that's what I keep saying about Tom and Toby. It's just like, not Tom, Toby and Andrew. Please finish their arcs and their stories, like, please, because we got cut twice off in a row.
Oh, and Spectacular Spider-Man got cut off too.
Yeah, dude, fix them up too. Everybody, this is your opportunity.
All right, Lord and Miller. Lord and Miller are gonna save the day.
Literally, I mean, dude, they keep teasing a lot of different. I think, like, even recently they teased a Punk Spider-Man, which is also cool. Saw that. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, honestly, like in terms of like fan service, like I know it is, but like also you can tell good stories because you're bringing in like all these other fans because it's all Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse is all fan service in the best way possible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's funny because like it's a deep. Rare cut that people would even know who Penny Parker was because she's only in like a couple issues of the Spider-Verse run, but like fan favorite now.
Yeah, and Spider-Gwen. I still want my Spider-Gwen movie too, man. Oh,
I reshared my tweet from like a couple months ago today where I will die on this hill. I want a live action Spider-Verse with I want Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen, and I want that to mess with Andrew's mind. Because it's like, oh my god, he suffered so much with that, and like to have to like work with that.
That would be there's an issue where Spider-Gwen's talking to the real Peter Parker. Like
I shared that in my tweet too.
Okay, yeah. It's one of my favorite conversations. He's like, she's like, how was the Gwen in your world? And he's
like, they make a pact to like look out for one another.
Yeah, look out for another. Nice. Make sure it never happens again.
Tragic,
it is. I'm sending it in chat right now.
Jeez, I want to see this.
It's so
I'm
good.
gonna send it in chat right now.
Oh man!
Wow, that just hurts, but like it
doesn't
makes
it? Yeah. I'm like Spider-Gwen him, but you got to make sure none of us die.
Carson, check chat. I just sent it.
Oh my goodness,
it's so good.
I wonder what issue that is.
Oh man, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, there it is. Oh man, it's great. It's so good, dude. Great. Yeah. I think that was either the end of the Spider-Verse event, something like that.
Is she grabbing his face too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because also we know Gwen lost Peter in her world.
Gwen lost Peter in her world. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Somebody asked me like, who's your favorite Spider-Verse character. I'm like, Spider-Gwen's my favorite Spider-Verse.
They gotta do that.
And the thought of it being Andrew and Emma again, like
God.
Which I know like in real life that's but
yeah,
in character, because they were set for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Oh
wow,
man.
you just like skyrocketed my expectations for
for a live-action Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
me too. Because I was like, I don't really want a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland thing.
And I was like, yeah, but what if I make you sad?
I like the sadness.
And then I don't know, Toby. I was like, let's give him a daughter, because there's a Spider-Man daughter named May Parker. So
yeah,
let's roll with that.
I'm down.
Spider-Man's great.
Fantastic.
In progression with the show, I wanted to get into like a fun brought up our own personal topic. Because there was this funny thing going around that Blockbuster, the last one in known existence that is still not rebranded as a my Blockbuster got rebranded into a dual Dunkin' Donuts Baskin Robbins.
What a strange combo.
I know.
To each other.
Yeah, no, it's weird. You can literally just get both. But yeah, no, that's what my old Blockbuster, like the whole complex has turned to like 4 different stores. It's like those 2, also like this hair salon place, and I think maybe like a self-service thing. It's weird. And a Little Caesars. It's weird.
Wow.
This entire Blockbuster. Like its own tiny strip mall. But yeah, recently it came out, and this isn't like film news unless you know the context of Blockbuster. That's the big rental store before streaming. They're putting up their last location up on Airbnb for $4
a night.
$4.
A night, yeah. Like starting in September, and it was great to see. Like they actually have a set layout. It's like this pull-out couch in front of this like old square box big TV for like just the whole vintage thing with the Blockbuster sign, and you still have the racks of movies available and like set up snacks. So I guess you probably like. But also, again, $4 a night, that's amazing. I don't know if there's like additional charges for like using stuff, but that's really cool, honestly.
I'm sure it's going to sell for the entire year, especially
it's so nostalgic now.
It's nostalgic, and with COVID happening, like, you know, a little escape with the people that you're already quarantined with.
Yeah. And again, like another thing with Blockbuster, it's not just movies either, it's also games. So
right.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, I bought a lot of games from Blockbuster.
Oh man.
But to that point, it just the whole prospect is fascinating, and it's great to like the Blockbuster Twitter themselves came alive for a day to like retweet it and like just like, hey, how's everyone doing? But to that point, I wanted to actually throw to all of us here our favorite Blockbuster memories of going, because I'm pretty sure we've all gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a time.
For me, I remember like I used to go to the video store more so with my dad and my mom. And like every Friday, whenever I went to my dad's house, I would always like my brother and I would go to like the horror section for some reason. And this is where we got a lot of the Goosebumps movies. Like a lot of the, or like, I don't know if it was movies or TV shows. I forget how the Goosebumps stuff worked. But we got a lot of the Goosebumps just videos and shows to watch. Wow. And that's where I grew up on like all those live action Goosebumps stuff. And I also read the Goosebumps books a lot. So that's where that came in.
Did you ever bring into the era of renting, but like they had the VHS tapes or just DVDs?
VHS tapes, yeah. I had a lot of VHS.
I don't think I actually really experienced that too much.
Really?
Yeah, I think primarily I just saw DVD. I mean, like I've known people who actually had like a
Blockbuster. Oh, you're saying like renting VHS.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a lot of VHSs at home. I don't know how many I
know I've had VHSs that were actually like marked with the Blockbuster thing. Be kind, rewind. Yeah. Back when you had to rewind. It was otherwise, you're a dick if you don't. Like,
exactly.
Can you imagine somebody pulling a horrible prank where like everybody just like rents a bunch of VHS copies of Empire Strikes Back and stops it at the IM?
Oh God, that would be so bad.
Horrible.
What a horrible.
Did you guys' parents ever like record shows using like the VHS and like having to rewind?
No, not with VHS. I've had that before because my box TV had a VHS player that you could record on. But what my grandpa did, because he had the Blockbuster membership card, so like he would like I think every weekend like we go to Blockbuster for something new. Normally I'd rent games. It was where I'd actually go for movies, but I there were, and I'll get to it, but. No, he would like get a bunch of movies, popular ones primarily, and he would make DVD copies of the DVDs. And it's just like in the giant flip book of DVDs, just like written with Sharpies, the title, and you have like the full copied menu. It's the whole disc.
Wow.
And it's just like, so that's out there now, but what are you going to do? Come arrest my 70-year-old grandfather?
Door, like, come here.
What are you going to do? That was weird because that's actually the first semblance of how I was actually growing up experiencing Star Wars. Was like we had episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, and 2. Revenge of the Sith wasn't out yet. We had all those, and it was so weird. I would always pop in Return of the Jedi and sometimes Empire. But
yeah, I was an Empire kid growing up. I had to watch a lot of Empire on those.
Oddly enough, of the OG 6, A New Hope was the last one I saw, which is so weird.
Whoa.
Of all 6, and it was weird because like I remember the first time watching it, I'm just like, oh, Vader's here already.
I remember being so bored with A New Hope as a kid. I'm like, this movie is so boring. But then I loved Empire Strikes Back.
Sadly, I was bored by the Hoth battle.
Wow.
But since then, I've grown a brain and I love it. But like back then, I was just like, give me the Dagobah.
Like, give me to the Yoda creature. Yeah, I was like, where's Yoda?
Muppets, man. I love Muppets. Like,
even with the prequels, I'm like, is Yoda coming? Where's Luke at? I'm like, this is the Phantom Menace.
I mean, stemming off of that with Blockbuster, I would rent primarily movies about either the Muppets, or Godzilla. Obviously, that was my big shtick. Is like I was getting Millennia era DVDs of Godzilla, or I was getting like random Muppet things that were intriguing, or like maybe even like some semblance of an animated Garfield, something like that.
Yeah.
Aside from video games like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Or Lego
for me, yes, Legos. I remember getting like, it must have been PS2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or what had to be?
I had an OG Xbox at the time.
Yeah.
I have a funny story with that. Like a semblance of games I get would be like, I remember I got the Fantastic Four movie game, and I've also gotten the Avatar: Last Airbender game. But because I'm such an arrogant player and I don't want to read, I skip the instructions and I get stuck. So I like progress anymore. And I just screwed myself out for a week of gaming.
Sounds like Nathan.
But it was funny because I wanted to get a video game, but like I couldn't at the time go with my grandfather to get it. I guess it was just like too quick of a semblance of like running errands. So my grandma had him get me a game, and he brings back the Scooby-Doo game. I'm like, okay, cool. I like Scooby-Doo. And again, I tell you, I have the OG Xbox, and I open the disc and I see a very tiny GameCube.
No.
The tiny GameCube disc, and I'm just like, how comical. That it's not just because it's a Blockbuster case, so it's not custom made. So there's just like spare space surrounding the disc.
No, so it's like
the
actual illusion of it.
Oh,
yeah, so I'm just like, all right, we're stuck here.
Oh
Sorry.
man.
But like my grandmother was amused because like, look how tiny the disc is.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
It would be years before I could actually like get a Wii to do that, which I've never played a GameCube game on the Wii, but it's possible. Movie talk.
No, I was gonna bring up before we got into the video games. I remember it might have been a VHS of the Goonies. I cannot remember specifically, but
I grew up with the
Goonies.
I grew up with the VHS of the Goonies.
Yeah, I believe that's how I discovered the Goonies. Was
so good.
I had a sleepover with one of my good family friends, and we're like, oh, it's Friday movie night. We're going to go to Blockbuster. Like, we're so cool. And we would get the Goonies. And then every time we had a sleepover, we just get the Goonies because we loved it so much.
I remember my one of my family friends lent us a VHS that they just owned. And it was the Disney Channel movie Smart House. And it had the Blockbuster like tape on the bottom. And I was like, oh, what? This is interesting.
This good old DComs.
Remnants of the time long past.
I still never seen Goonies. It's on Netflix. I gotta
really, dude, you gotta. It's
one of those movies that always
Richard Donner film, but it's also from Spielberg, and it's a classic.
Yeah, classic.
It's 80s staple. It's so weird that I keep forgetting Josh Brolin's in it because he's like the older brother. Yeah, he's the older brother, but like he looks so scrawny compared to like Thanos. Like,
and now looking back, I'm like trying to like look at like the facial features that will be.
Yeah, because like the main little kid is Sean Austin, who becomes Samwise in Lord of the Rings. But like,
I know, it's crazy.
It's so weird. And even like the kid from Temple of Doom, like, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
he's a little older in it, so it's so fascinating. Yeah, it's so 80s, but it's like. It's weird because it's 80s, but we're hunting treasure.
Yes, and it's perfect, and I love that.
It really is. So much. It's in the same vein classics as like The Sandlot, with just like
yes,
kids growing up.
Speaking of that was a big one for me. Before I had The Sandlot on DVD, I think that was also what we discovered.
Yeah, and Angels in the Outfield. I remember getting that one too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Other
baseball classics.
Field of Dreams. I think
Field
I
of
remember.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Really good.
Ooh, so in the semblance of the new wave of Blu-rays, that was around the age of like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
I went into Blockbuster and there was like a couple of things to notice. Number one, primarily displayed in the middle of the store, playing on this tiny widescreen, was the Phantom Menace pod racing scene in Blu-ray on a PlayStation 3. And it was like the whole semblance of everything. I was just like, wow, look at it. Like,
so
so
HD.
clear. It's funny. It's like in this like big glass dome case, but like so nobody touches it. But it's like it's so fascinating because you're just looking. It's like PlayStation 3, Blu-ray Star Wars, like just all of it clicking together. And 360 doesn't have Blu-ray. It's like, but also I remember I went to go. This is I think how I first originally saw it. I went to go rent the Clone Wars movie, the Filoni, 2008, and it was there. And I know, but I'm a child who knows no better. We'll know better eventually, but it's just like there's this whole wall taken up by the Clone Wars movie, and I'm just like, oh my god, look at it all! Look at Anakin, like just on the cover.
It was like when it came out, and
this was funny because this was actually we were like close friends with our next door neighbor, and like we went with them to rent something. Like they allowed me to get something. I was like, okay, cool, and I grabbed the Blu-ray, but it's like. Luckily, the dude actually had a knowledge of like, well, hold on now. Do you have the capability of playing Blu-ray? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, probably not. Grab the DVD. I was like, thank you. Smart man.
Back when Blu-ray was like, oh, do you have an HD TV? Can you have 720p capability?
I know, yeah. I was like,
we had my dad got this like 42-inch flat screen like some Father's Day back in like 2008, 2008.
Black Friday TV shopping back then was so
and it had a built-in it had a built-in Blu-ray player and like the big event film around 2009. What are we finally gonna check it out?
Avatar, right?
Yeah, or I guess it was 2010. Yes, it's Avatar, and it's like okay, cool, and like it starts playing smoothly, but then like the Blu-ray player like broke, and it's like great.
Wow.
So, I mean, we still got to watch it, but it was just like all right, well, back to normal DVDs, I guess. Like still through it, but we can't use the player. All great.
Isn't it? It's crazy that we're talking about this progression of Blockbuster stuff, and I'm realizing how young Blu-rays really are and how phased out they've already become. You know,
there was a whole nother like side thing that failed. Called I think they were just like HD DVD, and they were like red casings.
Yes, I remember those.
I think I remember like seeing a case of Peter Jackson's King Kong in one of those. I was like, this is interesting. Like, I don't. There's so many different things. I was DVD. I don't know. Like, but yeah, like obviously that didn't pan out.
I remember specifically for the first like, I think this was like, so if your PS3 was hooked up to the internet, which obviously it was, and then you got one of the Blu-ray discs where this was when the Blu-ray disc could start hooking up and launching trailers that were newer, because usually, you know, you're so used to like with Blockbuster movies, you're like, oh, this is so fun because it's the trailers from like whatever 2002 or whatever movie you're watching.
Yeah.
This is a throwback. But I remember for the first time popping in a Blu-ray and then like current trailers would pop up for whatever studio it is. I'm like,
oh yeah, they did have that.
I just thought that was so revolutionary. I'm like, the disc has hooked up to the internet.
I think I've only ever seen that once ever, and I remember it was like a kind of like a download, like stream loading icon. I was like, what's happening? Just where's the trailers? Like,
yeah, don't they still do that now for current Blu-rays?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of my Blu-rays
they do. All right.
Oh yeah, you don't buy Blu-rays that much, don't you, Nathan? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, even like so recently, like when I got like the only Blu-ray capability I have is my PlayStation now. Like everything else, I just primarily did digital. Like. I think only like once ever have I played my Blu-ray copy of Civil War.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever popped in my Last Jedi Blu-ray actually.
Wow.
It's untouched, man.
Go to jail.
Well, I streamed it. Like I had the digital code
on the FBI as we speak.
I was on my most HD TV in the living room that does not have anything hooked up to it. So
I have my Blu-ray copy of Your Name right over there.
I definitely want to get back to Blu-ray. I mean, I'm another thing, because I don't have like 3D TV capabilities. I have my untouched 3D Force Awakens that I won from Star Wars.
I watched the normal Blu-ray from that set, but I don't watch the 3D. It's just sitting there.
I know the Blu-ray 3Ds have the because this was a big like thing to like discover is like they have the IMAX shots expansions that weren't readily available anymore after theater release, and you could only pull them from the 3D Blu-rays. But then you also have like 2 side-by-side shots that are supposed to merge together,
Right.
so you just kind of like have to
piece it together.
Yeah, which is
That's cool.
somebody has done, and like the Force Awakens Falcon sequence, you can watch it online. It's not in the best quality, but it's there and it's awesome.
You know, I remember getting that special edition of The Force Awakens. That was like I already owned 2 copies of The Force Awakens. For every reason, I'm like, I'm getting this because the holographic cover thing and like all of
Yeah. No, I have the holographic cover one. My grandfather ordered it because like, oh, the new Star Wars is coming in. I was like, oh, cool. I'm totally gonna steal your digital code. Then the Star Wars Newsnet did they were doing a giveaway of the Blu-ray, and they were just like, what's your favorite scene from The Force Awakens? And I was like, I was overly detailed because I was like, well, I do love the Falcon's first flight, and I do love the lightsaber.
Oh my gosh!
Then I broke down the entirety of Rey's vision because it's my favorite scene, and they were like, winner, and I was like, cool, because it's also my birthday.
Hell yeah!
I'd have been like Raylo.
So this, I remember it came out late 2015 or late 2016. Sorry, that edition came out, and I remember I got in the mail that edition of it and Catalyst, the book hyping up Rogue One, the journey to Rogue One with Catalyst, like
nice
a month before. And I remember reading Catalyst and then popping in The Force Awakens and watching all the Rogue One trailers, and oh, what a time!
Oh, similar to what Carson was saying about like the downloads to your disc. On my OG Xbox, I popped in my disc 2 of Revenge of the Sith DVD, and I popped it into the Xbox, and it was like, it prompted me like, do you want to play this demo? And I was like, okay, cool. And like, what is it? And it's the entire Utapau campaign for Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005.
Whoa!
Where you could like play Obi-Wan, fight Grievous, everything. Like, oh my god, this is insanity!
Oh,
and I would just like replay that.
Or is there like the special features around there too?
No, they're on there too. Like everything's accessible. I think you have to like go under a menu thing, and then it's like you select Battlefront 2. Which is
it's
really
so weird that being on the same disc, like
right, like
so
it was like, oh, mini game, let's go. Like,
yeah, such an early 2000s thing. It's crazy.
Definitely.
It was weird too. I mean, kind of like getting off topic from Blockbuster, which I'll go back to, but it is weird, like the whole early assessment of consoles to begin with, because I remember you had to have like for Xbox have like a custom DVD remote to navigate properly. It wasn't just controller like nowadays, and I was like, this is weird. You had to like plug in this like sensor reading for your control, for your actual remote control, into like one of the ports for the controller, because we weren't always wireless. It was crazy. But yeah, back to Blockbuster. It's such a nostalgic staple now.
It totally is. Real quick, like, did you guys ever go to the video store, Hollywood Video? I went to that.
I always
one
wanted to. I was never around it.
I had a Hollywood Video.
Recently, like back in, I took a trip to Michigan in 2017, and they had one like up, and it was like still open, I guess. Never got to actually go into it though, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Still saw one in the flesh, and I was like, oh my god, a rental thing. Look how cool it is. And my dad's just like, things are so easy now. Why do you
I still have a rental store. I have a Family Video right next to my mom's house. Yeah, Family Video, and I always go there over the summertime.
Mine is attached to the like indie theater.
What's it called?
Oh god, what is it called? Well, the theater's called. Oh my god, how am I blanking on this? Oh, the theater's called like Liberty Hall, but I think the video store is called something different. Liberty.
But yeah, it's cool having a video store like in these days. I still like it. It's still very popular like on weekends. I
always hated like the first official start of like the shutdowns of Blockbuster, and like I'll even see nowadays, like they have the very specific big signs where it's a pulled ticket stub that says Blockbuster, and it's like it's iconic. I'll drive around town, I'll be passing like one of these stores, and the sign will be like some sort of like prompt for like a boat marina, but it's still the shape of the ticket stub. So I'm like, I know what you were. Live.
Right. Live. They like retrofit the signs to like, they don't change the shape of them. And it's like,
what's funny is it was still in yellow and blue. And I was like, you're not even trying.
So lazy.
Like, come on, man.
Now it's Long John Silver's or something.
My favorite Kreme place, like my favorite Krispy Kreme donuts place, became a bank, and they like kept like the Krispy Kreme like, but it was like the bank, and it was just really
on the back, dude, on the back of the Blockbuster, where they had the sign. There's just a faded out print of the big sign there now, but they haven't like painted over or anything, so it's just death. It's just death incarnate. Like, oh, it's crazy. Do you guys have any a semblance of memory of like what was like the last time you went to rent for?
See, it's hard because I always I transitioned into Redbox a lot for at least for like
for
like family road trips and stuff. We'd always get Redbox DVDs because it was quick.
It's crazy that's still available.
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to think when.
I remember the progression of the rise of Netflix, which I guess we could talk about that. That was interesting because like, it was back when like I think it was around 2010 because I was living down in Key West at the very bottom of the States, and we had the first official like Netflix like back when it was like initially launched, and like there was like a few set titles that were like able to stream. Some of them were Muppets, and I was hyped. But it was also the instance when like it was the start where you could actually get them sent to you in the mail. Like you get
I remember
the discs like in a big old list of your queue, and it's like next up will be sent this, and then like it just interchanges. You can change the.
Sounds so crazy to me. I never invested in that kind of like. I think I never started using Netflix till 2009 or 2010.
What?
Like,
yeah, Sam. I think that was initially for their launch.
Oh, was it? Because I don't know when, but I never used the mail thing. That sounds so foreign to me. Like I always just, that's probably what we have today. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. Eventually, they started fading out. I think you could like get like some sort of like a bit more in your fee. You can get like 2 movies at a time instead of just one. So it made.
They actually, I'm pretty sure they do still have the mail service. It's very limited, but.
That's kind of cool. It was so weird too, though, because you would get like this envelope, and it's like here it is, and then like you have to open it up a specific way. Don't break it.
Yeah,
and then
so
you have to like once you just get like this little tiny like square disc pack that has like the title and description of the movie with the rating, and you just pull out the disc, you use it, you put it back in, then you put it back in the envelope that you flip reseal with a separate sticker. It's the exact same thing. You just send it back out, and it's like. It scared me as a child because I was so afraid I was going to screw up the thing and like how do you send it back?
Yeah, no, I had Sony broken DVDs around the house too, just from like.
Wow.
I hate that I grew up like uncaring for my DVDs and like so many things.
Me too.
What is wrong with you two?
We're children. We don't know.
I can't relate to that at all. I never broke a DVD.
I didn't break it, but it's scratched.
My Phantom Menace DVD out, I just like chuck it in there.
What, Carson?
Into the Lego bin. Yeah, no, I mean, and that was like such a big prominent display for Blu-rays as well. It's like they don't scratch as easy. It's like, oh, dope! Like,
yes,
finally, I can watch Prisoner of Azkaban. I lost my disc 1 of Prisoner of Azkaban and never got to watch it. I was so sad. So I just watched.
I'll send you my DVD.
Well, I mean, I'm good now, but I stream. I grew up on Chamber.
It's nostalgia because the booklet is the Marauder's map. The booklet is the map.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm sad.
I wonder if I have that.
I'm sad because I just had the casing, like the normal casing, but the first 2 Harry Potters I had where like they opened up into like 4 folds.
Yes,
just 1 and 2, and had the art print and like the scene selections titles. It's so good.
Man, I miss. This is actually to cap it off of like this physical media discussion and nostalgia for that. The news broke this week that Disney is stopping 4K productions of like not only the Fox library but like
the whole like that's a lot. That is
like a lot of classics. Stuff. So like
now is this they're just stopping the 4K productions, or are they still making DVDs for these movies? Or
it sounds like it stops manufacturing altogether.
Yeah, they're stopping altogether, and so like movies like I don't know, it was listing some like Aliens and like Fight Club, for example, have never gotten 4K releases. Those are never going to get at least physical 4K release unless the rare instance where like Fight Club or something goes to Criterion and they're able to get rights just specifically for that.
And how likely do you see something like Alien getting not just 4K master, but like added to something like Disney Plus?
0% chance.
I know, and which is horrible. Like, what else? Where else do you go? I mean, yeah, I can, I guess, buy it through like Vudu streaming, but like, it doesn't have a 4K.
Yeah, tragic.
I mean, I'm not immediate like.
So
4K
it's pretty much
movie.
like anti-future proofing.
Yeah, this was a scare that like people had too. Is just like this was a whole big scare before the deal went through with Disney and Fox. It was because Disney has been known to mass market, like they'll forever take away some of their classics, like they advertise in the Disney Vault, and like it's just trapped in there forever until they decide to bring it out again for expensive marginal profit, and then they'll bring it back in the vault again for a limited time.
Which I will hate if that happens with like Aliens and stuff, where they're
yeah,
like,
which is horrible.
Own all of them, so I'm fine. But like,
I mean, there's like a lot of box sets of the Alien franchise, but like, get them while you can, I guess.
Yeah, literally.
Tragic.
Sad.
It's so sad. Especially like collector's editions and stuff. Like they're like so beautiful and they're I mean, I know like I've moved away from physical media, but that's just from a financial standpoint. If I could, I would be like all the time. Because I love the amount of collection. I love how it looks. Even though I have no room in my room and everything's overflowing, I have my whole desk cabinet of rows on rows. I have like a bookshelf stacked. I have a shelf right over here, probably just like stacked as well, and it's just like, I'm overflowing.
Yeah, so many boxes of DVDs. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. It's just it's nuts. Just the whole progression of physical media and the rise of Netflix and the fact that like they initially offered to buy Blockbuster. Blockbuster was just like, no, we're good. We got this.
Because Netflix didn't come out really back then. I mean, they were starting to, but Blockbuster was like, this is not going to blow up.
Yeah.
And just the whole decrease of it was surreal to also like still be seeing like new movie posters in a Blockbuster, even though you know it was slowly dying off. Like you could feel it, like just the lack of like. First off, like available product on the shelf because it wasn't getting pulled as much, and just like active members. And then when you just see like those big like blowout, everything is going mega sales, and it's just like, oh, this sucks, man. And then the eventual renovations, it's sad because it's like such a big part in at least my personal childhood, and just to see it
of movies in general. That's it was half of discovering stories in movies was like going to the movie theater, yes, but. Those random Friday nights where you just picked up a movie from Blockbuster and it was like an experience to like actually go to a location, browse a section.
Yeah, even today, like anytime I go into somewhere like a Walmart, my primary objective if I'm just walking around, I'm going straight to electronics and I'm browsing.
I'm going straight to the $5 movie bin and I'm seeing what's in there.
Absolutely, man, that's fun. Like it's just like a treasure hunt, essentially.
I'm in the Goonies every time.
I mean, yeah, I'll just be like going through like the $5 movie, and I'll see like random like just trash, low grade movies, and I'm like, why's Forrest Gump in here with them?
There's good stuff in there. I remember last time I went there, I got like a $5 Blu-ray of The Town, and I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, there's like all those little like steals in there. It'd be like, Zoolander 2, and then it'll be like
sometimes I'll have double features in there of like two like
it'll
be connected. Like it'll be like action pack. Something starring Jason Statham and then
Godzilla and Pacific Rim. What? I got that too. I literally have that.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Even though I already had Godzilla on its own, I was just like, $5.
Of course.
$5, man. They're both DVD quality, so congrats. You got bought 480. You paid $20 for 480p. Oh, how I wish I knew. But yeah, it's so funny, and I mean, I know this is just Disney pulling on my nostalgia, but I was so enthusiastic when the first Captain Marvel trailer came out and she crashes into a Blockbuster. I was like, that's amazing. And even like today for the thumbnail, I was actually I was looking through like screen caps of like when she lands in the Blockbuster, and I was like, this would be fun. It'd be fun for memory, but there's too many like close angles. And I was like,
just see like our faces up on the shelves, just like
So I love that. Just her browsing stuff is great. It's so short, but it's just funny. She's just like taking out like a True Lies standee, shoots off Arnold's head and stuff, like everything. Just the classics, like again, like the standees and just like everything displayed. It's such a time. It's such a lovely aesthetic because it's essentially just like a library for film that you get to check out. The death of cinema.
That has become my fill-in for Blockbusters being gone, is I go to the library and even now I can pick up I can go in there for 10 minutes and get like my holds or whatever, but they have excellent just like all sorts of DVDs and you can spend hours in there and just like going through stuff. So
so good. It's so fun, man. Such a fun pastime. Would you guys say that about covers all for today?
Yeah,
definitely.
Alrighty, well, what a time. Blast from the past. But yeah, it was so cool seeing like the Airbnb news because it's fun. I follow this parody Twitter last Blockbuster and they just like tweet out the most sad pathetic stuff where it's just like, all right, well, we had to put the pen on a chain, you guys made me do this, like stuff like that. Or just like there's a homeless dude in the parking lot, just try to avoid him and stuff like that.
Oh man. Not gonna take it.
I'm gonna go follow this now.
Celebrate 4th of July.
Yeah.
Celebrate 4th of July, we're burning a couch in the alley. Like and like the next year they did that again. They were like, this time we have 2 couches. Like
oh my god.
It's sad, but it's funny. Yeah, like what a time. It's so fun to discuss. This was definitely a fun episode to nerd out nostalgically and also comically with Spider-Man and everything, and as well as just like the progression of further movie news. And is fun to not have to be so bleak about the future of theater cinema, which I'm sure we'll talk about probably next week.
What's gonna happen?
Where's WB's movies going?
Where's New Mutants?
Bill and Ted 3 when? I'm literally gonna like watch it on streaming, but it's still gonna be fun. But with that being said, I had a fun time here. From all of us at home, Evan, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. Mostly tweeting everything about Big Brother these days. I didn't get a chance to talk about any of the Ghibli movies, but I'll do that next week because I'll be finishing it out. I have
aren't you done?
No, I have 2 more left. I have to do the one that I missed, the first one, which is Nausicaa: The Hidden Valley.
I missed that on my list too. I forgot to put it on my watch list, and then I realized that I missed a Miyazaki film between 1980 and 86. I'm like, wait, where is?
Yeah,
what did he do?
I have to do that one, and then My Neighbor the Yamatas.
Oh, that's a great movie.
I haven't seen that one yet. So, but after that, I'll be done. So I'll be doing a full Ghibli end or finale thing next week. That'd be fun.
I think I'm gonna watch Ponyo tonight actually because I finally got the disc. I had it on hold for so long, and the library finally gave it to me. I'm like, yes.
Which one?
Ponyo.
Ponyo, nice. Okay.
I completely forgot about talking this week's watches just because I didn't.
No, we can see that for next week though. It's fine.
That's good because I don't have nothing.
Yeah.
So that works out. But that being said, Carson, where can good people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at the Film Carson and just talking about all different things. I'm hoping that Dune doesn't move to next year, but we'll see. And I think we're going to start getting some more news about fall movies and just, Tenet's finally going to come out. And so we're just going to be sitting here reacting to it all, hopefully talking about some other stuff that we're watching. But yeah, it's been a good time.
And as always for me, you can find all my links in the description below, as well as primarily right here on my channel where, trying to work on so many different projects, but, I'm super ambitious and I do too much. But, stuff's always coming. You can always check over on my Twitter primarily where I'm the most active. I'm always speaking about stuff and probably also ranting about Avatar: The Last Airbender's missteps in live action. That being said, if you did enjoy our podcast, which I'm actually kind of now thinking with how in depth we get in these segments and how long we go, maybe I'll start making block videos of specific topics.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So the Blockbuster discussion or the Spider-Man.
Like clipping it out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot easier than just 2 hours full runtime.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. I'm going to try to do that. It's a simple cut and render. So probably do that. That being said, if you did enjoy the stream, we tend to go live every Wednesdays, somewhere in the evening between 7 and 9. So if you did like the stream, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. And that being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the force be with you always.